Chapter 3. Widowhood in Reality. What No One Tells You. Real-life interview. Martha A., age 31, widow and mother of 2, Nigeria. My husband was a vibrant and loving man. We had plans. He was the one who paid for everything while I just stayed home with the kids. I thought I was lucky. Then one morning, he didn't wake up. A heart attack. Just like that, the bills started coming. Rent, school fees, food. Then his family came and took everything, even the car. I couldn't argue I had no money, no job, and no education. That was the day I truly understood the meaning of being alone. Widowhood is not just about wearing blankets, a full-blown war. 3.1. The unspoken aftermath of death, when the curtains fall. When death comes, it does not knock, it crashes. And when it takes a husband, it takes with it more than a man. It takes security, identity, and predictability. In the days following a man's death, his widow becomes the center of attention. Everyone comes. The church comes. The in-laws arrive. The village elders gather. The neighbors peek in with casseroles and consolation. Tears flow. Bibles are read. Promises are made. We'll always be here for you. You're not alone. Call us if you need anything. But within a month, the noise dies down. The compound empties. The curtains fallen. The real show begins. It was after the burial that the pain truly started. I stood alone in our bedroom and realized I had nothing. Not the house, not the business, not the peace. I had become a ghost in my own life. Juliet M.A., widow at 33, a new kind of suffering, and no one trains her for it. The African widow often walks into a war zone with no armor. She must now pay the bills with no income. She must raise the children with no help. She must navigate traditions that often treat her as a suspect. She must grieve in silence because society expects her to be strong but also silent. What's worse is that most women were not groomed for this battle. They were groomed to be beautiful, not bold. Soft, not strategic. Quiet, not questioning. From girlhood, they were trained for weddings, not for widowhood. They were told, "Your husband is your covering. Marry well, and you'll never suffer." Men don't like women who are too wise. So, they learned to lean not to lead. Widowhood in Africa, a cultural crisis. In many African traditions, widowhood becomes a license for abuse. Inheritance is stolen by relatives who claim she is only the wife. Blame is shifted with whispers like, "She brought bad luck." Rituals are imposed, including sleeping on the floor, shaving the head, or drinking corpse water. Isolation becomes law, with restrictions on socializing, dressing, or working for months or even years. And while the man is buried with dignity, the woman is buried with expectations. Expectations to suffer, to keep quiet, to move on while carrying everything. My husband built our house, but his brother asked me to leave after the funeral. They said I should go back to my father's house. I had nowhere to go. Fatima Musa, widow and mother of 4. The silent scream, grief that cannot be spoken. What many people don't understand is this. A widow doesn't just mourn her husband. She mourns the life they dreamed together. She mourns her own lack of preparation. She mourns how quickly people forget. She becomes a shadow present, but invisible. She cannot fully cry because she has mouths to feed. She cannot break down because culture has made her the pillar now. But how does a pillar stand when its own foundation is shaking? Why this book matters. This book was not written to scare you. It was written to prepare you. Because while death is unpredictable, disempowerment is preventable. While grief may be inevitable, poverty is not. While life after a husband may be painful, it should not be hopeless. Affirmation: I will love deeply, but I will also prepare wisely. I will not live in fear of death, but I will not live blind to life's realities. Even if the worst happens, I will not be lost. I will be ready. 3.2. What really happens to a young widow? Behind the black veil. To the outsider, a young widow is seen as a figure of pity dressed in black, quiet, and respectful. But behind her downcast eyes lies a chaos that few people truly understand. When the condolences stop and the mourners leave, the real funeral begins the funeral of her former life. In an instant, the world she once knew is gone. Not just her husband, but her identity, her security, her stability. Below are the stark realities that many widows face in silence, especially in traditional African societies. 1. Financial collapse. Without an income of her own, she is suddenly expected to pay rent or mortgage, feed and clothe her children, pay school fees, clear hospital or funeral debts, maintain her home and health. Yet she often has no savings, no job, no business, and no idea where to start. The same people who once told me not to stress myself because my husband was working were now asking how I would survive without him. I had nothing. Ngwu, widow at 30. 2. Property stripping. In many communities, inheritance laws are weak or ignored. It's common for the late husband's relatives to seize property, cars, land, documents, and bank accounts to be claimed. Even the bed she slept on to be taken from her. She is often told, "You're not part of this family anymore. Go back to your father's house." The law may be on her side, but enforcement is rare, and courage is often costly. 3. Emotional isolation. Grief is one thing, but loneliness is another. Many widows find that friends stop visiting afraid of her pain or simply unsure of how to help. In-laws become cold or hostile, especially if there's property involved. Neighbors and community members begin to avoid her. Even her own family starts treating her like a burden. She is seen not as someone hurting, but as someone dangerous, suspicious, even cursed. Once you become a widow, you're no longer safe around married women. They think you'll take their husbands, so they avoid you, or accuse you. Fatoumata B. Mali. Fear, sexual vulnerability. This is one of the darkest consequences of unprepared widowhood. Out of desperation or coercion, many widows are pressured into unwanted remarriages by family, sexually harassed by male relatives, landlords, employers, lured into transactional relationships just to survive, judged for any romantic interaction even years after their husband's death. Their pain becomes currency and predators know it. I was told if I didn't accept my late husband's cousin, I'd be thrown out of the house. They called it tradition. I call it abuse. Jane M., widow at 26. 5. Childcare burden. She is no longer just a mother. She becomes father, expected to be firm, strategic, and financially stable. Teacher, guiding children alone through grief. Provider, working day and night to keep them alive, all while carrying her own pain unseen, unhelped, and often unacknowledged. Her children now look to her for everything, and she often has nothing to give but her presence. This is the hidden face of widowhood. This is what lies beneath the mourning clothes. This is the weight behind the forced smiles and empty stares. This is the real cost of dependency. Because when a woman is taught only to rely on a man, his death becomes her downfall. Unless things change, this could be you. This is not a prophesy, is a pattern, one repeated in village after village, city after city. And unless young women begin to educate themselves, build financial independence, learn their rights, acquire marketable skills, this story will repeat. We don't prepare women to survive. We prepare them to serve. Then we act shocked when they suffer. Tse, ku, Ngwu. Affirmation. I will not wait for tragedy to teach me strength. I will prepare, I will protect myself, and I will provide where needed. My value is not in who I marry, but in what I become. Quotes to reflect on. Widowhood is not the end of love, it's the beginning of survival. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. You will never know how strong you are until being strong is the only option you have. Bob Marley. They took my husband and wanted to take my life too, but I chose to fight back. Anonymous Widow, Abuja. 3.3. What must change before marriage and motherhood? In traditional African communities, most girls are groomed to be wives and mothers, but not women. They are taught how to serve a man, raise children, and behave in society, yet few are taught how to stand strong when those roles are tested or taken away. This must change. Marriage and motherhood are beautiful parts of life, but they should not define or confine a woman's potential. Before stepping into those sacred roles, every young woman must first build herself emotionally, financially, and mentally. As the wise saying goes, it is not selfish to secure yourself, it is sacred. What every young woman must begin to do. 1. Prepare as if you might have to stand alone. No woman marries with the plan to lose her partner, but life doesn't ask for permission to be unpredictable. Widowhood, abandonment, divorce, or unemployment can happen to anyone at any age. Preparation is not pessimism, it is power. Ask yourself, if I lose my husband today, can I feed my children tomorrow? If no one helps me, can I still survive? Preparation isn't just about money, it's about resilience, mindset, and planning. 2. Learn practical skills that can feed you and your children. Beauty fades, fashion trends change, but skills pay forever. Whether you choose hairdressing, tailoring, baking, farming, digital marketing, web design, data entry, copywriting, teaching, catering, event planning. What matters is that you have something in your hands, something you can use to earn with or without a husband. When my husband died, it was my sewing machine that kept us Alivano, my wedding ring. Gloria M., Nigeria. 3. Build personal savings, not just family savings. Too many women say, my husband is the one who saves. I just use money for home things. This is dangerously common and dangerously risky. A wise woman has a bank account in her name, keeps personal savings 7, if small, knows how to manage money, not just spend it, understands budgeting, debt, and investment. Even if you trust your husband, always remember, preparation is not about mistrust, it is about wisdom. 4. Create emotional strength and a support network outside marriage. Depending solely on your husband for emotional stability is another trap. If your entire self-worth comes from him, what happens when he's no longer there or stops affirming you? You must build confidence in your own voice and vision. Friendships that pour into you, not drain you. Mentorships with older women who can guide and sharpen you. Faith or spiritual grounding that anchors you even when the storms come. You can be deeply loved by someone and still be lonely if you don't love and understand yourself. Ngwu. Marriage is not a lifelong insurance policy. It is possible to be married and still suffer. It is possible to be married and still be poor. It is possible to be married and still be emotionally broken. Marriage is not a guarantee. It is a gift, and you must bring something to that gift other than your body, beauty, or submission. Because if your value is only tied to someone else's presence, you will fall apart in their absence. Affirmation. I am not preparing to be alone. I am preparing to be whole so that no matter who leaves, I will never lose myself. 3.4 Personal Reflection Exercise. The Mirror of Tomorrow. Step 1. Quietly reflect and write in your journal. 1. If my partner died today, what would I still have? 2. Do I know how to access money, bank accounts, property papers, and legal documents? 3. What am I doing today that prepares me for independence? no matter what tomorrow holds. Step 2. Create a small emergency plan for yourself. Skills I can learn now. Support persons I can rely on. My personal savings strategy. Closing words for Chapter 3. No woman prays for widowhood, but every woman must prepare for it. You don't have to live in fear, but you must live in wisdom. When you build yourself today, you build your children's future and protect your own tomorrow.